The Roblox egg hunts. This is if not my favorite types of Roblox events. Every time I wake up, I'm always excited for the next egg hunt to happen. So yeah, you can tell that I'm a big lover of these things. So you know what? Let's do something special for this month alone. Because it's a month where Roblox launch their yearly egg hunt. So as you read the title correctly, let's do a huge history on the Roblox egg hunts and see how far they have come. So yeah, grab your Roblox plushie and let's go back in time. 2008 was an interesting year for Roblox. Roblox games used to look like this, but at the time, Roblox launched the first egg hunt. Well, it's not named the egg hunt at the time. It was actually called
Extravaganza?
Yeah, that. Extravaganza. Now, this event was very interesting because how it worked is that eggs spawn in every game. A lot of the eggs spawn in random points of the game map. The event had over 11 eggs and also 3 of the troll eggs. This one is important for later in the video. And also, this event lasted for 3 days straight, which is not that long. And here's a graph of all the eggs that were very popular to get. I don't know what I'm looking at. A lot of the eggs have different cool challenges in it. Like this one right here that just bounce. Or this one that just teleports around across the map. Or this one that turns invisible. And this one is by wearing a crown. Or this one that you have to kill someone with the bunny ears of Capris. And this egg right here, you have to be a mash of freaking chest. Not gonna lie, the eggs actually look cool. Like this one right here. This is not even an egg, but it's still cool. So yeah, that was Egg Hunt 2008. Now let's move on to... There was not an Egg Hunt 2009. I don't know why it didn't happen, but it didn't happen. But that's okay, because... Egg Hunt 2010 is another interesting one. I'm going to use that word a lot in this video. So Egg Hunt 2010 is another Extravaganza. So Extravaganza 2010 is a pretty big one. To the point it broke Roblox. Yeah, the event was closed 2 days, which was interesting. But hey, at least you get a cool necklace while it was happening. Anyways, a month goes by and the event was reopened again in July 21. However, what makes this Egg Hunt cool, there was 24 eggs dropped in this event. And each of them have different season drops. There were only like 2 drops, so let's start with the first one, which was the spring egg drop. There were 60 eggs in this one, but there's a lot of interesting eggs in this one, like this one that if you grab it, it will launch you into the air, or these ones where you had to wait a certain time to get them, like day or night, and this one where you had to fight some zombies. And finally, we got the first ever Fabergé egg. Now, there are 5 Fabergé eggs in total, and in order to get them, they are extremely rare. There is a slight chance of spawning in, and once you spawn in, you have to be the first player to get it. Next up, we got the summer egg drop, which was released in July. This had more interesting challenge into them, like these 2 right here is by playing sword fights on the heights. There was a Yoshi egg by breaking into an ice. This egg is by riding on it, although it will walk off of the map. And this egg is by having to dodge rockets while it's doing a sick airbird. This progress takes 5 seconds and have to have less players to do it. I hope that makes sense. Here are quick bonus ones for 2010 egg hunts. There are actually contest eggs. There were 4 of them. Like there's a crossroad one. And there are actually some here, like the Egg Basket and the Egg Detonator 2010 and the Egg Compass and an Egg Magnet. Okay, that's a lot for 2010 Egg Hunt. So let's move on to... 2012 Egg Hunt is where we actually got an actual Egg Hunt. Now it's not called Extravaganza, it's actually called Roblox Easter Egg Hunt 2012. Now this event was the first Egg Hunt to have an actual made world, which was created by games. The main world had an interesting combine. It had Crossroads, Chaos Canyon, and sword fights on the heights. In this Egg Hunt, there were 25 eggs in total. There were some actual pretty cool quests on here, like this one where it's only in nighttime and it rolls around. This one you have to pick it up before it explodes. This one that is on the ground. This one is by getting a correct code, which is 707 by the way. This one, you need to have your hat to be a table. This one is literally just a ghost. And finally, which is one of the craziest egg of all time, the egg of all devious darkness. It not only has the most creepiest sound ever, but it literally crashes the server once you pick it up. What? Anyway, so this egg hunt has something cool in it. This is the first egg hunt to have sugar eggs. Although in order to get them, it's even more rare than Fabergé eggs. Speaking of Fabergé eggs, there are 3 Fabergé eggs in the event. And of course, they are rare. This was also the first egg hunt to have an egg cannon 9000! Which can award you this hat. And also there's a bonus egg, which is this one right here. Which you get is by playing this game right here. And this is also the first egg hunt to introduce the grand prize, which is the last egg of 2012. So yeah, that was egg hunt 2012. Let's move on to Egg Hunt 2013 is a long one, so prepare yourself. This egg hunt has a huge world in it, like an actual big one. There's like a city, a castle, a town, and etc. This was also the first egg hunt to introduce portals, which you can now teleport into different parts of the map. So yeah, that was the map, now onto the eggs. There are 25 eggs in the main lobby, and some special ones that I'll talk later. Anyways, onto the eggs itself, because there's a lot of pretty cool challenge on them. Like this one where you have to catch it, but it will attack you. This one's by killing the devil boss. This one you have to be very fast, so you have to basically catch it. This one has to have your name on it. This one's by defeating it on the tower. This one you have to break it, and this one's by using an iOS device. And this one is the best egg of all time, the Builder Man egg. I don't know why, but it's generally the best one. And we can't also forget about the Fabergé eggs, which are still rare to get. And also we got a grand prize in this event, which is the last egg of 2013. Although it's not technically a grand prize because everyone can get it. Anyways, onto the special ones that I said previously. Aside from the main eggs, there is also website egg, which you can get it is by in the Roblox website. There are only 3 website eggs, so let me explain how you can get them. The first one is by clicking the O in the Roblox logo, and these 2 right here is by clicking on ads that look like these. But that's not all, because there is still more that I want to mention. Not only they did it for the website, but they also did it for the Roblox Studios app. There are 6 of them, and they have simple tasks, like this one where you have to upload a game when the event is happening, and this one you have to place an explosion, and this one you have to place a car into it, and this one is by crashing Roblox Studios, which if you collect all of them, you get this cool hat right here. There were also hashing eggs, which as the title says, it can hash eggs into items. Although the sad part is, it was not like with the give explosion ones, where you can actually keep the presses. Now they just delete the entire egg completely, which they did with the egg duty one. So rest in peace, egg. And finally, there was a lot of catalog items. Whew. Okay, that was a lot for 2013 egg hunt. Now let's move on to... So Egg Hunt 2004 was an interesting one. This egg hunt, we actually got a title, and it's called Egg Hunt 2004 Save the Eggverse. The main game was developed by Games Again. Now this egg hunt is very interesting because not only they made a main game, but they also made an April Fool's game. And if we play it, you get this egg right here that has a very cool special effect on it. I'm just mentioning this because, well, it's funny and also SpongeBob. Anyways, onto the main Egg Hunt 2004. This was the first egg hunt to introduce worlds, and also a main villain for this event. His name is Rabbit, which is an interesting name, but okay, I guess. There's about like 5 worlds in this game. Each of them have different unique types of worlds, like a medieval times, a future city, a forsaken forest, and much more. Although these worlds are locked because you need a certain amount of eggs to open them. Anyways, onto the eggs themselves. There are like 34 eggs in total. So again, here's some cool ones that I found. This one's by knocking down it from a tree. This one's by finding a cave. This one's by going to a church town. This one's by saying I love you. This one's the top of a building. And this one's by avoiding the minions and going to a slope, which is one of the coolest eggs, by the way. And this one's by killing the minions. And also the friendship eggs, where you have to get a group of people to team up in order to get these ones. Anyways, onto the grand prize, and that is the rabbit egg. In order to get it, you have to beat it in a boss fight, and once you defeat it, you can go into the egg land and you get this egg for free. And we can't forget about the Fabergé egg, which again, I don't need to explain what they do. They do the exact same thing. They are basically rare, although there are 11 of them across different worlds. So yeah, that's all the main eggs, but there's also some website ones. There are only 2 of them, and you get them is by clicking these 2 ads right here. Poof. Okay, that's a lot for Egg Hunt 2004. Now let's move on to... Egg Hunt 2005 was very, and I mean interesting one. Now you may be thinking, well, it's about to be a cool world, a cool map. However, this is the first ever dev hunt. Yeah. First of all, there was no main lobby in this event. However, there were only 3 games in this dev hunt. The games are Super Bomber Survival, Ripple Mini Games, and Twisted Murderer. What makes this dev hunt interesting is that all of the eggs were in different games and have unique quests in it. Kinda like Egg Hunt 2004, but way different. There were about like 22 eggs in total for this egg hunt. There was actually a lot of cool eggs and cool quests on here. Like this one where you had to avoid the bees. This one has someone give it to you. This one's by wearing an old item for 2008. This one you had to chase it. I don't know what's going on with the texture, but you have to avoid the lightning. This one's a luck-based chance to get it. This one you have to pick it up from a dead sheriff. And this one's by grabbing it from a dead innocent player. And this one is by playing this music ID, which plays a PewDiePie song. And we also got the first admin egg, I think. And it's the admin egg of mischief. In order to get it, you have to find someone who is wearing the admin bunny ears of mischief. Now this item right here costs over 100k Robux, good Christ. But the reason why it's so expensive is because, well, this allows you to spawn this egg, which is generally crazy for a pair of rabbit ears. So yeah, that was Egg Hunt 2005, but now let's move on to... So Eka 2016 X-Soil Adventure, which is not a dev fund this time, and the game was developed by Hawaii Snowman. Now what's interesting about this Econ is more like a remastered version of like 2013 Econ, mostly because of the portals and having a huge map and etc. I mean, the map itself is actually really awesome. Anyways, but this is the first ever Econ to introduce quests into the game. And also, here's a little fun fact. This Econ was actually in beta and it cost you 450 Robux to play it. But don't worry, it was later open for everyone. Anyways, there was about like 26 Econs, and there was actually some pretty interesting and cool ones out here. Like this one where you had to dodge his rocket moves. This one's by guessing the correct one. This one's by collecting all the tasks that he gives you. This one's by bringing all the XPs back to the basket. This one's by dodging the attacks from a ninja. This one's by defeating a dragon. This one's by finding the charts around the map and piece it back in. This one's by guessing what word he's trying. And this one's by beating in a dodgeball match. And you also got these 3 eggs right here that you can only pick one, which is sad. And of course, we can't forget about the 2 Fabergé eggs. However, there are actually ways to complete it this time. Like this one, you have to find it in a graveyard or different places. And the Fabergé egg is a hard one because you have to get 100 shards and go to the gravestone to get this egg. And we can't also forget about the admin eggs. Of course, in order to get it, you have to meet a Roblox admin. But there's also a mini version of it. There is also a cutie Pocky, which can spawn the tabby eggs. Alright, so that was Eka 2016. Now let's move on to... But before we continue on and talk about them, if you enjoyed the video so far, click that subscribe button. That way I can tell if you're enjoying the video or not. Anyways, back to 2017. Eka 2017 is if not the biggest Econ ever. I'm going to talk about it short because if I explain it all, this will be an hour-long video. And also, the game was developed by elite builders of Robloxia. There is also some story about this, when it seems that this guy by the name of Dr. Devil Egg taken over the Eggverse, and we are here to save it. So yeah, there's about like 9 worlds. All of them are very unique. There's like snow, stereo silver, a desert, and so much more. There were about like 40 eggs in total, and all of them are freaking dope. Like this one's by going up a tower, this one's by getting launched in the air, this one's by waiting for a lightning to spawn in a tower, this one's breaking into a facility, this one's by going into a rocket, this one's by finding a penguin, this one's by building a snowman, this one's by completing a puzzle, this one's by going into a pyramid, this one's by completing a riddle, and this one is by waiting 7.5 hours to get it, which is dedication. Alright, so now we got all of that away, we actually got a grand prize for this Econ, and that is the Fabergé egg, which you get it by completing the entire event. And also, we can't forget about the Roblox admin egg, which I don't need to explain what it does. Alright, so that was Econ 2017. Now let's move on to... This is the big one, so get ready for this one. The Econ is called Econ 2018 The Great Yoktos, and it was developed by 15. This Econ has a big story. We go into this library and we meet this guy named Booger, I'm not pronouncing his last name, and he accidentally made his bird Amar evil. And he went off with the eggs and turned Booger into a worm. So it's us, the player, and Booger to save the Eggverse. So yeah, that's kind of like the plot of this. This is also the first Econ to introduce mechanics in it. There's a dive, roll, double jump, fly wall, stuff like that. Kind of like Super Mario Odyssey style game. This is also the first Econ to introduce us subworlds, basically worlds that have different more stuff in it. But what about the main worlds? Well, there's 5 main worlds and 5 subworlds. Combine that, you get 10 worlds. Okay, onto the eggs itself. This is also the first Econ to introduce treasure eggs. It's basically eggs that are very, very powerful, and these eggs are very important to fight up the main villain. There's about like 45 eggs in this event. Also, remember this guy? Yeah, the rabbit from Econ 2004. He actually made it as an official boss in the game, and if you beat it, you get this egg right here. Okay, now to the grand prize. There's actually 2 of them. The first one is the Emmerger. In order to get it, you have to beat Eimer in a huge battle, and once you beat him, you will get the egg and Booger goes back to normal, and the library will be fixed. And the second egg is the Coarse Feather Fabergé egg. You get this by completing the entire Econ. We can't also forget about the admin egg, which again I don't need to explain what it does. There's also objective-based eggs, like the DIY egg, which you get by getting all the crayons, the 15 egg. In order to get it, you have to complete this extremely difficult puzzle, and once you complete the difficult puzzle, and once you do all of that, you get the egg. And we also got the stained glass egg, which was used for the Ready Player 1 event. Alright, oof, that's a lot for Econ 2018. Now let's move on to Econ 2019 Scrabble in Time, which is a cool name by the way. But this Econ is a sad one because this one is a dev hunt. But luckily there is a lobby in this one, so at least it gets 1 point. Econ 2019 main game was developed by a group called Eggcatuli, and surprisingly there is lore in this game. The lore basically goes that the player have to save the Eggverse, and we also got this guy right here, I forgot his name, so I'm calling him Dude Man. Anyways, Egg Hunt 2019 has actual different worlds. There's a cool space one, a cool tower, and a lot of obbies. This Egg Hunt also has mechanics into it, like you can walk over walls, doing cool stuff, and etc. But now it's time for the egg. There's about like 58 eggs in total, 8 for the main game, and 42 eggs for the experience. So yeah, that's all in the main games, but this Egg Hunt was also sponsored by Adventures Endgame. However, you can actually get Marvel characters as eggs, and if you get all of them, you get the Thanos glove and the Thanos egg. So yeah, that's the sponsor one, but now it's time for the grand prize ones. There's actually 2 grand prizes in this Egg Hunt. Once you have all the eggs, you have to fight a guy named Eggwig, and by beating him, you get 2 choices. Take the egg or seal the egg. If you were to pick the take the egg, you will get Dragonborn Fabergé egg, but if you were to seal the egg, you get the legendary egg. Of course, the seal the egg is the bad ending, which destroys the entire universe, and the take the egg is the good ending. Now onto the special ones, because this was actually the first Egg Hunt to introduce video star eggs, and also the admin egg is in the event, which of course I don't need to explain how you can get them, or you can also buy them in Egg Hunt 2018 shop. Alright, well, that was sure an event. I do like this event because it was my first ever event, but aside from nostalgic, we have one last war. Egg Hunt 2020 Agent of Time. Egg Hunt 2020 has nothing really special into it because there is no lobby, no lore, nothing. Anyways, enough rambling. What does this Egg Hunt has? Well, for starters, it's a death hunt, and the amount of games in it are 49 in total, and 40 eggs in this Egg Hunt. So yeah, onto the final ones, which is the grand prize. The grand prize is the Fabergé egg of the new Destiny, and in order to get it, you have to complete the entire event, not including these right here. Speaking of these right here, this is the first Egg Hunt to introduce Death Launcher, and of course, there's also the Video Star and the Admin Launcher. And lastly, you can also get an egg phone for free. Quick bonus ones from different Roblox events that are kinda connected. The first one being is the start of the video, which is this egg right here, the Egg of Time that exists. In order to get it, you have to have 50 boxes collected in one team in the Metaverse Champions event, and have a group of people push these things right here. Once it lights up, you can go inside and get the egg. And lastly, to wrap up this video, we got one that you guys are very familiar with, the Infinity Egg, which you get by getting 95 badges in the Roblox Hunt. In conclusion, Egg Hunts are if not the most magical events in Roblox history. Even if there's some bad ones, you cannot deny that these events is what make Roblox special and events and stuff. Without the Egg Hunts, we wouldn't have on RB Battle Season 2 or Season 3 or bringing the community together. Before I go, I want to say 2 things. First one being is, well, follow my social media, is in the description. And second, thank you. Thank you for watching this entire thing. This is if not the biggest project that I ever done for this channel. And since you watched the entire thing, I'm going to give you something. Let me just find it real quick. Okay, I found it. Here, have a Build-A-Man egg for free.